We have Kerenza Harris and Purva Joshi from Morphosis Architects, and they're going to take us through the journey of designing for the future, harnessing intelligent digital processes. And my understanding for this next session is that we've planted ourselves to the ground, learned all about GIS, understood more infrastructure projects, and now we're getting into the world of architecture. And there's no other better presenter that I have met in person who talks so wonderfully about all the digital tools and processes than Kerenza Harris. Thank you so much.
All right, so thank you, Riddhi. So my name is Kerenza Harris, and I'm an associate principal at Morphosis, and I'm also the director of design technology. The fact that there's two titles floating is already a given that we are doing a lot of things. As architect, we're great at many things, but we're not expert at one thing, right? So we're always working with other people and leveraging our consultants to be able to kind of drive our design to construction and kind of creating a performative architecture for the clients. Purva just started at the office. She just graduated actually from UCLA, and I thought I'd bring her here to introduce her to the world. And also, asking you also to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what it's like to just start from fresh from school into this kind of pretty dynamic world of architecture.
So I started working at Morphosis about a year and a half ago, and that's when I graduated from UCLA with a degree in metaverse, I would say. It has a different title, but it was all about metaverse. And I feel like back then, just 2 years ago, I would like 1 year ago, nobody believed that we will actually be using Unreal Engine, Unity into architecture, and people were pretty unsure how, like, it might take 10 years for you to like actually use these, is what others used to say. But I think Morphosis is really doing great in that. And I had this opportunity to explore the skill sets that I had learned back at UCLA. And what we are also exploring now is augmented reality, virtual reality, visualization using really like software like Unity and Unreal Engine. So I feel like that has been my experience so far. And other than that, I'm also doing computation and sustainability. So it is like a blend of everything that Morphosis is doing. And I'm glad that I had this opportunity to work alongside Kerenza, especially, and learn from her every single day.
Thank you. You didn't have to say that. Thank you. Okay, so I just want to give maybe a slightly different point of view. That's okay if we see the icons. A little bit different point of view than kind of the large firms, although we have about 60 people. But we work on very, very different types of projects. We go from large, like a regional project, all the way to very, very kind of large buildings. We also do building complex. We do some work for the US State Department. This is one of the port of entry points near Alexandria Bay. Unfortunately in Beirut, I hope it's going to be okay, but this is almost to completion. It's a 7.4 hectare complex for the US Embassy. We have a new embassy coming up in Riyadh as well. We do high rises, and we do a lot of kind of sustainable performative architecture that kind of blends, again, some of the kind of more kind of ecological strategies that are kind of worked into not only the geometry or the shape of the building, but also the systems that are occurring inside of that. And then throughout the kind of these complex, various typologies and various kind of programmatic, or even like kind of like the geometry of the actual buildings and the size, right? We go all the way down to these types of projects. We had to develop like internally a very kind of sturdy way to deal with all this information and kind of being able to bring these projects to a kind of a rational end, right? Because ultimately it has to exist in gravity, and people have to be able to use it because we're builders of geometry, builders of environment. So